On the first day, the baby lies in the cradle. The dog sits at the door. He doesn't move. He doesn't bark. He just watches, focused, silent, perfectly calm. You don't know what he's thinking. You don't know what he's feeling. But something about this look gives you pause. He knows. He understands. Before you explained anything, before you showed anything, he just simply knows. Today we talk about a moment millions of families know, but hardly anyone understands. What really happens inside a dog when a child comes into the house? And what happens in the child from the first hour through the dog's presence? You will learn things you've never heard before. Afterward, you will know more. More about your dog, more about your child, more about the silent magic between them. I promise you. After this video, you will never look at this encounter the same way. But first, we must be honest about the fear almost all parents know. The fear comes before the baby is there, sometimes months in advance. What if the dog gets jealous? What if he gets aggressive? What if it goes wrong? This fear is human, it is normal, and it is largely unfounded. But let's not just say, everything will be fine. Let's understand what really happens. Because that is much more interesting and much more reassuring than any baseless comfort. Your dog smells the little newborn long before he even sees it for the first time. That sounds simple, but what it means is anything but simple. He smells cortisol, oxytocin, milk, sweat, a complete biochemical profile of a new life. And his brain processes this information at a speed that is invisible to us. He knows immediately. This is not a visitor. This is an important part of here. Behavioral observations clearly show. Most dogs react with a deep protective instinct, not jealousy. They become very watchful. They sit next to the cradle. They follow the child everywhere. Not out of aggression, out of an instinct that is older than any training. But when, and I will be honest, can it go wrong? It goes wrong when preparation is missing. When boundaries are not set. When the dog is suddenly ignored, not out of malice, but out of exhaustion. Because the baby needs everything. And the dog feels the shift. His previous place in the pack changes, very slowly, but clearly noticeably for him. And here is the crucial thing. How you handle this shift determines everything. Not the breed, not the age, not the dog's past, but you. There is, however, something important that almost all new parents completely overlook. The first weeks with a baby and dog, they are not just a transition time for the dog. They are above all an incredibly important key time for the baby's development. Newborns learn about the world through senses, sound, smell, temperature, movement. And the dog is a constant, living, warm source of all of that. The sound of the dog, his breath, his steps, his occasional quiet whining. These sounds are not noise to the baby, they are safety. Studies show. Babies growing up in households with dogs are better regulated. They sleep deeper, cry less frequently, calm down faster after excitement. That might sound like a coincidence, but it is absolutely no coincidence. It is the effect of a living, breathing, calm being in the immediate environment. The dog regulates the room, through his breath, through his silence, through his sheer presence. And the baby subconsciously learns, the world is alright, even if much is new. Now we turn to the moment that touches most parents the most. We mean the very first intense eye contact between the little baby and the family dog. The baby lies on the mat. The dog comes slowly, carefully, lies down next to it. And the little baby, who understands nothing yet feels everything, looks directly at him. And then something beautiful happens. The little baby looks at the dog and smiles. Not out of reflex, not by chance. It smiles because it felt something. Warmth, life, something that is there and stays. Something that does not move away. And the dog looks back, calmly, without demand, without expectation. This moment is not sentimentality. It is the beginning of a relationship. The child's first friendship, even before the first word, even before the first step. And you might be asking yourself now, how can I guide this well? How do you make sure the dog doesn't feel lost next to the new baby? The answer is simpler than you think, and it changes both. 10 minutes a day, just for the dog, no baby, no distraction. A walk, a game, a quiet round on the sofa, just the two of you. These 10 minutes tell the dog, you're still here. You still belong. And your dog understands this. He understands it better than you suspect. Because he doesn't measure in hours, he measures in quality. In attention. In eye contact. Here is the moment that showed me everything in a different light. A woman told me about the first night with her newborn. The baby cried, she was exhausted, the husband slept, and then the dog came. He lay down on the floor next to the changing table. Just like that, unasked. And she said, I was less alone. Because he was there. Because he stayed. This is absolutely not a rare story about a particularly extraordinary or specially trained dog. This is the story of what dogs do, if we let them. They stay by our side. They stabilize us emotionally. They are simply reliably there. In one of the most chaotic moments of life, the arrival of a new human. There is an invisible bridge between the newborn and the dog that constantly grows. Every day they observe each other. The baby attentively notices his every movement. And the dog? He learns how fragile this new little human actually still is. He adjusts his steps. He sniffs more gently. He suddenly moves much more carefully. Many parents report that their otherwise wild dogs suddenly became incredibly gentle. That is no coincidence, but deep social intelligence firmly anchored in him. He feels our own tension and reacts to it with a calming, almost wise patience. This incredible patience is a great gift he gives to the new little family member. It is the quiet proof of an affection that never needs loud words. In the next video, we talk about something that perfectly ties into this story. What actually happens inside the dog when the baby learns to walk, often screams loudly and pulls? When does a protector become a playmate, and what changes in the process? That is a story of its own, and it is worth being told in full. But tonight, when you come home, look at him. Your dog. And then look at the baby. And then look at how they look at each other. What you see is older than language. Older than training. Older than concepts of family. It is the oldest thing there is. Two beings recognizing each other. And in this silence, without words, without explanation, lies everything that matters.